good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
The top story for you this morning, President Park Geun-hye proposes five-way talks with the ruling and opposition parties and herself in hopes of breaking the current political deadlock and mending fences.
In the meantime, the two main rival parties were able to mend fences to some degree. More coming up in the headlines.
What does a 3D NAND memory chip look like? Samsung Electronics says they have it, and we will show it to you.
And I got to meet some of the biggest K-pop fans from all over the world. I'll tell you about their adventures here in Korea in just a bit.
And love thy neighbor. It's not that difficult if all your neighbors were family members. More nuclear families are returning to the traditional ways of living and choosing to live in close vicinity. Scary stories to send chills up your spine. Macabre tales have been passed down for centuries, transforming with the ages. The 3Gs of Korea, the ghosts, goblins, and ghouls. On Wednesday, August 7th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
It's good of you to join us on Korea Today on this Wednesday morning.
And good morning. It is the beginning of autumn or fall. Today is Ip370, which is one of the 24 solar terms, believe it or not, and it definitely does not feel like autumn to me.
It doesn't.
Honestly, it feels like the monsoon season didn't even end.
Right, if anything, it feels like we're smack in the middle of the monsoon season. Take yesterday, for example. Yesterday, it rained so much, it poured yesterday afternoon, and it started pouring, and then lightning struck 1,008 times. That's 20 times the total amount of the number of lightning you would normally see in the whole month of August. So you get the idea of how much rain and lightning we saw yesterday, right?
Yes, if you had a chance to witness it, it was almost apocalyptic. I looked out the window, I was like, whoa, there's no way I'm going out anywhere today.
A little scared, too.
It was scary. All right, so we saw some clips from that last night. A lot of rain, and today we're expecting a little bit, not too much, so do have an umbrella with you. We'll have more on the weather updates with Lee Da-mi joining us later on.
But first, we'll go to Na Hyun-kyung for a look at the day's headlines.
A potential breakthrough at the National Assembly on the prolonged standoff surrounding the parliamentary probe into the nation's spy agency. Ruling and opposition parties agreed Tuesday to extend the investigation deadline by 8 days to August 23rd. They've also tentatively set up additional dates for hearings to take place, but who to summon remains undecided.
We have four main areas of investigation. We've agreed 98% on the witness list for the first two, but the third and fourth we're only at 20%.
Because we have found no common grounds on some parts, each party will put down what it wants on the agreement and continue to negotiate.
Now, watchers are doubtful as to whether the two rival parties will be able to wrap up the investigation by the extended deadline, since the issue of greatest conflict is still up for negotiation. The bipartisan probe kicked off last month amid the opposition Democratic Party's claim that the National Intelligence Service was involved in swaying public opinion in favor of the ruling Saenuri Party in last year's presidential election. The Presidential Office of Cheong Wa Dae has proposed holding five-way talks with the chairman and floor leaders of the ruling and opposition parties to resolve political wrangling. The proposal comes after the ruling and opposition party each suggested three-way and one-on-one talks with the president, respectively. The ruling Saenuri Party welcomed President Park's counter-proposal, but the DP was not happy. Insiders say when its chairman said the party will not put too much focus on the formality, he was having talks that would only involve him and the president in mind. The opposition is reportedly planning to hold a press conference Wednesday morning to officially reject Cheong Wa Dae's offer and repropose holding a one-on-one with the president. And President Park, for the first time, has directly mentioned the missing 2007 Inter-Korean Summit talks transcript. At a cabinet meeting Tuesday, the president reaffirmed that she will correct any wrong habitual practices of the past and rebuild the basics.
중요한 사초가 증발한 전대 미문의 일은 국기를 흔들고 역사를 지우는 일로 절대 있어서는 안 될 일이었습니다.
However, the main opposition party criticized her comments, saying by only mentioning the transcript's whereabouts, the president has reflected her intention to distort the bigger picture of the spy agency's involvement in last year's presidential election. The missing transcript has been at the center of attention in the political arena ever since the ruling Saenuri Party claimed late Liberal President Roh Moo-hyun had conceded to North Korea by offering to nullify the de facto maritime border in the West Sea. These claims were strengthened shortly after the opposition party accused the spy agency of meddling in last year's election. The Japanese government is considering making the use of its flag of the rising sun officially okay, a move that will affect and anger neighboring countries, including Korea and China. Japan's Sankei Shimbun reported Tuesday that the Shinzo Abe administration is pushing to give people the green light to use the flag, which symbolizes Japan's imperialistic past, in public. Korea's foreign ministry has not responded to the report, but a ministry official who declined to be named did warn Japan should be careful and think about the impact it will have on Japan's neighbors if Tokyo does make such a decision.
And happy Wednesday, everyone. At the top of our show, you saw those incredible pictures of Seoul yesterday at lunchtime, and stills of it decorate the front pages this morning. Quickly, let's take a look at Joseonilbo's front page. A shot or a view of the lightning and thunder erupting over a thickly clouded Seoul there. But we'll come back to Joseonilbo in a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front page of Gyeongyang Shinmun. Now, it has two different shots of the same stretch of Taepyeong Street. This at 12:43, not a.m., but p.m. And on the other side at 5:20 p.m. when the thick clouds did subside. The headline, so certainly very much different images. One does look like it was in the evening, and one during the day, but it's actually flip-flop, so quite a bit of a scare yesterday, I think, for a lot of Seoulites. Meanwhile, the headline below it reads, President Park says, first, when historical documents disappears, national discipline shakes. And it was the first time that President Park held a cabinet meeting since returning from her week-long vacation last week. The headline does capture that comment of President Park saying when historical documents disappears, national discipline shakes. And it was the first time that the president commented on the mysterious disappearance of the 2007 Inter-Korean Summit transcripts, which of course has been the heart of the ongoing inter-party spat. She called the transcripts sacho, likening their disappearance to shaking the national discipline and erasing history. In other words, something that should have never happened. She added that there have been a number of events recently that should have never happened as well, and that moving forward, her government will prioritize straightening past wrongs and creating a new culture with upright fundamentals. Scooting on over to 중앙일보 now, similar headline here from that cabinet meeting. It does read, results first in people's livelihood, principled response on historical document. Now, following Monday's reshuffling of her Cheongwade staff, the president presented a plan titled A New Challenge, A New Change. And the article says that the plan involves a two-track strategy that is setting the people's livelihood as the main goal and moving forward on the missing transcript according to principle. Now, President Park also said that in the second half of the year, she would fashion herself as a sales diplomacy president, devoting her energies to publicize Korea to the world, expanding its diplomatic reach and reviving the local economy. Meanwhile, if you're wondering, the big picture on the front page takes us to Yokohama port near Japan's capital city. As the island nation remembered the U.S. bombing of Hiroshima's anniversary, that is, title reads 68 years since Hiroshima A-bomb dropped, Japan unveils helicopter carrier. And what you're seeing there is a 19,500-ton, 248-meter-long helicopter carrier, the Japanese Navy's largest warship since World War II. The caption says the Izumo, as it is named, can carry up to 9 helicopters or a F-35B stealth aircraft. All right, coming back to 조선일보 now, let's go ahead and take a look at this story. Headline reads, Japanese soldiers systematically mobilized sex slaves, according to a newly discovered journal. And this journal belonged to a Korean worker stationed at sex slave stations in Burma and Singapore, run by Japanese soldiers. According to 조선일보, it highlights a part of that text which recorded that a fourth group of sex slaves numbering in the hundreds did leave Busan port on a Japanese military ship on July 10, 1942, to arrive in Burma on August 20th, where they were dispatched in groups of 20 to military posts. Now, this goes in the opposite direction of what some Japanese officials have been saying, that neither the Japanese government nor the military was directly involved in mobilizing those sex slaves. All right, and we'll go ahead and scoot on right over to our business newspaper for today. The Korea Economic Daily's headline reads, Samsung, world's first 3D memory. Announcing there that the world's largest computer memory chip maker has begun mass producing what it says is the world's first 3D vertical NAND flash memory chip. The article says the technology has the capacity to spur on the industry from a gigabyte density era to a terabyte density era, which experts say could then trigger a paradigm shift in semiconductors and mobile devices. Now, the Korea Economic Daily likens the feat in layman's terms to shifting from a single household unit to an apartment, as the chip shifts from a conventional planar structure to a so-called vertical cell structure. The new 3D NAND chip will be used for a wide range of consumer electronics and enterprise applications. It says, though, Samsung still will continue producing 2D chips in the meantime. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Wednesday morning. Next up are your closing numbers from Tuesday's market action.
We're expecting more rain showers today, but I'm just hoping it won't be as bad as yesterday. It's scary.
Oh, surely. Yeah, another apocalyptic rainfall. We're definitely not looking forward to that. For more on the weather updates, we'll be joined by Lee Dami, who's at Songpa District in Seoul. Dami, good morning.
Good morning, Dami.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Ep2, the beginning of autumn, according to the lunar calendar. Right now, I am at Karak Wholesale Market, located in Songpa-gu, Seoul. But about the weather, here in Seoul, we're starting the day off at about 26 degrees Celsius. And yesterday, we did see some very sudden and frightful showers. This phenomenon is due to two different air masses colliding with each other. There is hot air coming in from the south and then cold air coming in from the north. Later today in the afternoon or evening, we can expect these sudden showers to return. However, it won't be as strong as yesterday. Now, something that we should be concerned about, though, is the heat. Currently in Seoul, we are under heat wave advisories. Later, our highs will peak up all the way to 33 degrees. The heat wave warnings as well are spreading throughout the nation. It did spread out to Gwangju, North and South Jeolla Province, also Jeju Island as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather around Korea. The nation's capital will rise to 33. Daegu will be exceptionally hot at 36. Busan will be similar to Seoul at 33. Gwangju and Jeju will both peak up to 35 degrees. Now tomorrow here in Seoul, also Gyeonggi and Gangwon province, we can expect clear conditions with just partly cloudy skies. However, it looks like tomorrow will be the hottest day of the week, so let's be prepared for that. That's all I have for the weather. I'll be back in the latter half.
Thank you, Dami. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the beginning of Hallyu, or the Korean Wave, designated by the Korea Tourism Organization. So 30 fans from 22 different countries have been invited by the organization to be on a special tour in Korea. And our Connie Lee had a chance to meet with them. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning, Hyung-kyung. Well, the fans that I met are from all over, from Turkey to Germany and all the way from Canada. And they're all here to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Hallyu, or the spread of the Korean pop culture. And according to the Korea Tourism Organization, it all started with one Korean TV series. And I'll tell you which one it is in just a bit, but I'm sure you can take a wild guess.
Yes.
Which one it is.
I won't say, but yes.
Right. But taking a look at Hallyu, you can see just how much it has infiltrated different parts of the world by looking at the fans who are all over the world. Here's a closer look. It looks like Hallyu, or the Korean Wave, is going strong worldwide with its addictive K-pop beats, melodramatic TV shows, and all things Korea.
Like everything from the music to the videos to the fashion and the food. It should be more popular because it's really tasty.
K-pop is the best.
The year 2013 marks the 10th year anniversary of Hallyu, or the spread of Korean pop culture, which all started with one little Korean TV series.
Winter Sonata first aired in Japan in 2003, and it became popular not just there, but in China and in Southeast Asian countries. So we mark that as the launch of Hallyu spreading globally.
And to commemorate the milestone, the Korea Tourism Organization has invited some of Hallyu's biggest fans for a visit. Under the theme of Surfing the Korean Wave, 30 enthusiasts of Korean pop culture from 22 different countries are in Seoul this week. They won a contest put on by the KTO, and they're here for a 5-day tour to get first-hand experiences with Hallyu. This includes learning how to dance, just like their favorite K-pop stars.
With all my sweat, I think it's very obvious that it's not very easy. For us to learn it now, I'm very, very happy to be given the chance not only to just learn it, but to be taught by some top choreographers and to be dancing in this really good dance studio.
From K-pop fan club presidents to radio DJs, these honorary Hallyu ambassadors make it their mission to help spread Korean culture in their respective countries.
I'm the CEO and founder of Officially K Music, and we've only been up for about 11 months, and to get about 600,000 likes on Facebook is amazing. So what we do is we give the fans the latest news, the latest updates on K-pop.
And while in the country, something that these fans can't get enough of are the merchandise and memorabilia of their favorite Korean stars, plastered on postcards, mugs, and in frames. Sue is expecting to drop a few $100s at this one store in Seoul to add to her growing collection.
I've been a fan of K-pop for the past 12 years. It's everything about K-pop that I like, from the singers' perfect performances, their artistic dance moves, their looks. There's even great merchandise that fans can buy. You can get all these souvenirs of the stars, so it's really fun and easy to get into K-pop.
She says she's just one of many passionate fans in France, as she shows me her tattoos of Korean K-pop groups Super Junior and Dongbang Shingi written out on her right forearm, along with names of individual members on her left. She's not the only passionate one, though. As a group gets together for some karaoke time, it's K-pop fan Kyoko from Japan, who studied Korean for the past 7 years to better understand her favorite songs.
U-Kiss 사랑합니다. I especially love U-Kiss. I listen to their songs every day, even to practice my Korean. I've memorized all the lyrics to the songs.
She claims that Korean pop music is actually gaining more popularity than its Japanese counterpart. But K-pop is not the only aspect of Hallyu that these fans are promoting. At the Korea House, which introduces visitors to the traditional culture of Korea, the fans were able to get a hand at cooking sungchae dumplings.
I think it's important to promote not only the K-pop, which is extremely important because that's the wave that brought Korea into the spotlight, but there are more things important into it. So, for example, the Korean culture.
But regardless of nationality, background, or even age, it is Hallyu that seems to be the common thread.
So I think that K-pop fans feel somehow special and unique in their own way, and that brings them together.
We're all from different nations, but we all connect and get along because we share a love for Korean culture, Korean pop. I've already experienced many neat things here in Korea, and I can't wait to share them with friends back at home.
Well, so these fans have another packed 2 days left of their tour, which includes a trip to Lotte World, Seoul's biggest amusement park, and they have a visit to a live K-pop show at later this week. And at the end of the week, the Korea Tourism Organization will be awarding these people with special certificates, honoring them as honorary Hallyu ambassadors.
An interesting title, Hallyu honorary ambassadors, right?
Yes, for their respective countries.
But you also mentioned that they are already active, very active in promoting the Korean wave back in their home country. So what do they do?
Well, so many of them actually lead a lot of different fan clubs or Korean culture groups or associations or websites. Now, some of the groups are older and some of them are newer, but most of them grew out of a expanding fan base already set there. And so actually more of them are familiar with K-pop, but of course Hallyu includes Korean fashion, film, and food, of course.
And when were they first then exposed to the Korean culture then? Was it the dramas, the TV dramas? I'm assuming. That's my guess.
Well, they say some of them say they discovered K-pop through their friends and others by chance, actually. And a young fan from Istanbul, Turkey, said she was actually flipping through the channels one day and she saw 대장금, or Jewel and Palace, which is a Korean historical dramas from a few years back.
Featuring Lee Young-ae.
Right, and after watching that, she got more interested in Korea, despite not knowing about the country initially. But since then, she's been out on a hunt for all the TV series, Korean TV series, and she's more interested about learning Korean culture and Korean history.
In your report, we saw them buying a lot of products as well. So Hallyu also is having a positive effect on the Korean economy as well, I'm assuming.
Right, you're absolutely right. Last year, actually, there was a surge of Hallyu-related exports, which includes film and games, which helped many Korean entertainment-related companies make more money than the previous year. And actually, data from the Bank of Korea shows that companies earned $800 million in 2012. And that's actually 18% more than the year before.
So who knows what Hallyu will turn into in the next 10 years?
Right, we'll just have to wait and see.
All right. Thank you very much, Connie, for your report today. And your grandmother lives upstairs, your aunt lives next door. No, I'm not talking about the Addams family, but still ahead on Korea Today. More Korean families are regrouping in order to live as an extended family, but in a slightly different way. We look at why people are doing this and what this new way of living involves. So stay tuned.
We're in the middle of summer. It's so hot and humid. It's easy to be a couch potato, but it's important to get up and keep moving. And to help us with that, our Angela Park joins us, and you can teach us how to do that right in the comfort of our homes, right?
Yes, that's right. Especially living in a big city, it's really hard because, number one, it's hard to match schedules with people to work out with, but to find an area to do the different types of exercises you want to do. So today on Hot Items, we're going to focus on items that you can use at your convenience with limited space, maybe limited people, to stay healthy and fit.
All right, what's our first item?
This.
That, right. What is that? It's not a tennis racket, it's not a squash racket, it's somewhere in between.
It's actually not just in between those two. It combines racquetball, it combines tennis, squash, and badminton. That's why they decided to call it ratisminton.
Ratisminton,
yeah.
Okay.
It's 170 grams, very light. It's made out of aluminum, which makes it lighter, but also just as durable and strong. And it's strung with squash racket strings, making it suitable to use on basically any ball.
And show us how this works.
Yes,
I guess
this is the part I was dreading.
Right, let's see you in action now.
Okay, before I hit this, I do want to describe what I'm working with here. Basically, you see how there's a tennis ball, or a mini tennis ball, really.
It's so cute.
It's 55% lighter and smaller than your average tennis ball, but it's just as hard, so the impact is just the same. You're working and practicing with very similar light conditions. And then it's strung to this sandbag. And what that does is it allows the ball to return back to you. So you're not like chasing after it like a dog, right?
Thus the name return ball, right?
Exactly, return ball.
So enough of talking, just go ahead and
You're
show
looking
us how
forward
this
to
is
this,
right.
aren't you?
I am.
Okay, so basically if I hit it, you see how it returns, right? It returns exactly back to
Let me give it a shot.
Yes,
okay.
you try. You're probably
this
better.
is why it's called the return ball. Okay, all right, okay, you're better at it. Okay, I get the idea, all right. So you don't need a partner, you don't need a tennis court for this. Not a lot of people can afford to have a tennis court. So.
Exactly, and if it rains, it's hard to go out too, right?
Okay, or what's our next item?
Our next item, let me put this ratisminton racket down here. We have what's called the 10-Tune S. It's like a trampoline topped with a jump rope, topped with weightlifting. You're gonna
multifunctional.
It is indeed. You use your body mass, and so basically I'm gonna get on top. And if you notice, I'm kind of struggling and wobbling, right? Because you're engaging all of your core muscles to stay balanced. So this improves your balance, not to mention if you jump on it, it's like a jump rope effect, except even better, because it's like jump roping in sand, which burns more calories, but it's better for your joints because it cushions it, right?
So you don't have to worry about, if you live in an apartment, you don't have to worry about interfloor noise?
That's such a great question, Minjung, because it has what's called the impact protection system. And how it works is, number one, you're kind of holding up your body as you jump and as you land, thus it reduces noise, right? But also, it has kind of like this donut-shaped cushion underneath. And this air pocket right here, what that does is it allows the absorption of 80% of the force.
So you can work out and you're right in the middle of your, I guess, your living room or your bedroom without a partner and get enough workout there, right?
Right, so it's a great technology, a great thinking that went behind this.
All right, what's our last, this, right? I want to give this a shot.
Okay, let me help you up.
Right, I don't want to hold that. I should have dressed like you today, but, okay, so twist.
It's a twister.
Can I have some music, please?
You need music, right, to make it a more exciting workout.
I guess this would be good for your love handles.
Absolutely. Right? You're twisting 180 degrees in each direction. You blast music. You basically just have fun with it. It does come with a little something to help your arms get a workout as well. So the Dipta line comes with a smartphone application. It's absolutely free. And what that does is basically it comes with videos.
Oh, wow.
To help you target those hard to reach areas. We're talking about, like you said, the love handles, right? You're talking about the hips, the butt, and the arms, things like that. So if you click on the application, it comes with various videos to select your hard, difficult areas. And not to mention, also, it has like a pedometer counter, so it counts the number of steps you walk in the day, the distance you cover, and also the calories burned.
Great, you have a twister, you have a trampoline, and you have a racket. It's like fun, right? And it's good for children too, maybe, I'm thinking, with a bit of, I guess, support from adults.
The key is to make working out fun, and remember, even a little bit goes a long way,
right.
as long as
you
it's
can
regularly.
That again. Yes, so that was a look at some equipment that you can, guess, use to work out at home, right, in the comfort of your home. So thank you, Angela, for that.
Thank you.
Still ahead on Korea Today, Peter Bint joins us with an introduction to the Korean macabre. Korean ghosts, goblins and monsters and more. Hear the stories behind the mythical legend. Or is it just legend?
How many hours did you practice that?
5 hours. Or is it just legend? For that little piece there. Okay, we're going to be talking about families. Now, nuclear families are the norm these days. You see maybe 3 to 4 person households at the maximum, but we're seeing a paradigm shift in these factors where a lot of families are moving closer together.
That's right. Today we're going to find out about a unique family structure that is emerging in Korea, and you'll be quite surprised to see the number of family members in this family we're about to meet. So take a look.
Last weekend in Eunpyeonggu, Seoul, Han Seok-won visits his in-laws along with his sister-in-law's family. Not long after, Han's mother arrives as well. And the total number of family members that gathered this day is 16.
The traditional extended family would live in a common area, but the new extended family does not live in the same space. They have separate homes and come together for support only when necessary.
Extended family members of Han all live within a 1 kilometer radius. Within this area, a total of 5 family units of parents, in-laws and siblings embrace a new living arrangement while keeping their distance and respecting each other's privacy. They can meet easily since they live only 10 minutes away from each other. This system allows all 16 members of the family to have frequent interaction and get to know each other just as if they're living under the same roof.
I enjoy living close by because we get to see each other often and share good food.
This is Korea's traditional extended family structure, where several family units used to live together.
The traditional family structure used to be large extended families, but due to industrialization, it's changed to a nuclear family structure, comprised of parents and children. However, in the past 10 years, single-person households exceeded the number of 4-member nuclear family households.
With more women in the workforce and added economic hardships, problems such as childcare and care for the elderly have become a central issue. This is why a new extended family structure has emerged that combines the best of what the extended and nuclear family structure has to offer.
I believe it's a voluntary solution that society came up with in order to cope with the costs of childcare and elderly care. In other words, it's a family structure that has been created based on needs.
What are the advantages of the new extended family structure? As a parent, the biggest advantage is support for childcare. Being a working mother, Oh Jung-hwa says having both a mother and mother-in-law nearby to help her raise her children is very reassuring.
If something comes up, my mother is ready to look after the kids. Whenever they have difficult situations or need to go to the hospital, I'm here to help. I really enjoy the idea that we're here to help each other.
The extended family allows members to interact with distant relatives and instills a sense of unity. Also, the elderly are comforted, knowing that they're being taken care of. But there are certain things to keep in mind in order to maintain the new extended family arrangement and get along with each other.
Family seems like a homogeneous group. But if you look closely, they have differences in generations and gender that can cause problems and conflicts. The most important thing is to respect each other and practice good manners. you can also anticipate problems. So before the problems occur, it's important to set rules, boundaries, and agreements.
Experts do say that this new structure is likely to become more prominent in solving many issues that we, in the Korean society we face, such as childcare and taking care of the elderly as well.
And living close by is great because you get to see your loved ones all the time, anytime, around the clock, and that's when conflicts are bound to arise. So it's important to set boundaries and really understand one another's lifestyles and how different they may be.
Also, communication is very important. You need to communicate and to get across the idea that, hey, sometimes you need your alone time. You need some time for yourself as well. So communicate.
Right. Please don't visit.
Thank you. I won't visit you.
No. So make only visits only on invitation.
Yeah. Sometimes it could be a little bit too overwhelming.
All right, well, still ahead on Korea today, Chef Andreas Krompel is back, and he's brought back some abalones, which are known for their rich and highly prized meat that grow in the freshest of ocean waters. He'll cook up some savory dishes of steamed abalone and abalone porridge to help us get through this hump day.
.35 a.m. on Korea Today. We're going to leave those abalones in the stove for now because Peter Bint joins us to talk about some scary stuff.
No, you did not.
I just did.
Yes. I hope there are no kids watching at this hour, Young. They're going to be petrified. But that's right. The long monsoon season is now over, and it's only going to get hotter before it gets any cooler. And that means we need some bone-chilling Korean folk tales to cool us down. And in many Western scary stories, they harm lots of humans in the story. But in Korean ones, it's interesting because there's a kind of moral tale, good versus evil. So let's take a look. Nothing beats the heat like a horror story or a scary movie. In Korea, ghost stories are one of people's favorites. There are many ghosts and monsters, but there's one in particular that likes to interact with humans. It's the tokkebi, familiar to many, but what does it look like?
머리에 뿔 나 있고 눈 째지고 낡은 천조가리 하나.
If you ask people to describe the tokkebi, they usually say it has horns and a large metal club. But is this an accurate portrait of the Korean traditional tokkebi?
The image that people have about the Korean tokkebi is not accurate. It's described as looking humanesque, large and hairy. It is mischievous and likes to wrestle. In a way, you could say that it's the portrait of an image that man wanted to portray with masculine values from the Joseon dynasty.
The word tokkabi, the origin for the word tokkebi, first appears in the literature Sokbo-sangjeon.
That's interesting.
Historical background. And the tokkebi is known to reward those who do good. In a 200-year-old painting, a man named Che battles bad weather to get to his father's grave to commemorate his death. Just when he was about to give up, a tokkebi lights a torch and guides the way. A lost soul full of resentment and sorrow, the virgin ghost is considered the most evil and quintessential in Korean folklore.
I don't know.
A bit too scary.
Yes.
And there's a legend behind it. 400 years ago in Milyang, South Gyeongsang province, a sad story of a virgin ghost Arirang begins. A government official named Yoon Dong-sik was sent to Milyang with his beautiful daughter Arirang, who becomes very popular. In particular, a man named Chugi tricks the nanny into letting him meet Arirang to confess his love, but when she rejects him, he kills her. Arirang becomes a ghost and pleads for justice. And finally, after they uncover her unfortunate death, they say Arirang disappeared. The legend of Arirang is still a popular subject in many horror movies to this day. And there is a place where you can experience truly Korean ghosts and monsters based on Korean folklore. From the ever-popular Dokkaebi and Virgin Ghost to the Korean Grim Reaper that guides the dead to the underworld. This horror attraction has been packed with visitors every day. It's thrilling just to watch people react in the dark.
It's an experience that will send chills down your spine.
Korean ghosts exist not only to scare people, but also to reward and protect the good. For this summer, how about getting spooked by Korean ghosts and having some fun in the dark?
I am definitely spooked.
Yeah, really cool.
Right. I didn't know Dokkaebi was originally Dokkaebi. It reflects the culture of its time period?
Yeah, that's right. From that period, many people, they tried to overcome their difficulties through mythology, explain it that way. And it's the original form of many of those cultures.
Apart from the haunted house that you showed us, are there other places that you can go visit and be spooked?
Yeah, in the hot Korean summer, there's loads of horror attractions up and down the country. And one of the famous ones is the amusement park Everland. It's opened the Horror Maze. And that was opened last year as well. And it was so popular that they've opened it 2 months earlier than usual for the Halloween season. It's got 11 rooms, including a torture room and a morgue that you have to walk through. And elsewhere, there's the Dark Doom. It's a 3D horror attraction in Insadong. And that features 13 horror chambers and 15 scary artworks. And it's the largest horror attraction in Korea. If you don't like to be scared, then don't go.
Isn't it bad enough to be scared? You have to find your way out?
Yes, you could be trapped in there forever.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's not for me.
It's not my cup of tea, no.
At least you save on air conditioning.
All right.
Well, thank you, Peter,
save
for that.
Those medical bills.
Thanks a lot.
All right, well, sharing these scary stories might be a lot of fun, but we're going to share what's going on with Idami, who's joining us once again from,
She's completely oblivious to what's going on here, right?
Exactly.
She's probably busy picking out abalones.
All right, so we're going to be looking at abalones. That's the thing, so we'll take it over to Tommy. Tommy, show us those abalones.
All right, I'm back reporting live from Karakolseo Market located in Songpagu, Seoul. Now, Karakolseo Market is where Korea's largest volume of agricultural and marine products are transported here. On a daily basis, about 100,000 people visit, and about 2.3 million tons of goods are transported here on a yearly basis. So that's just how huge Karakolseo Market is. Now, right now I have my basket with me to take home with me some fresh seafood, especially during the months of July and August, and it's none other than abalone. So I wanted to go ahead and show you some fresh ones right here. Now, abalone is a health food, so it's great for the body, especially during the summertime when you get really tired or exhausted because of the heat. When you intake this abalone, then you know you get the nutrition that's needed. So before I take some with me, I'm gonna go ahead and try some out. Oh, looks so fresh. Dip it in the sauce there. It's a taste of heaven in my mouth. Okay. I feel so bad eating it on my own, so why not take the time and come on over to Karakolseo Market and get your hands on some fresh abalone. Oh yeah, and in just a few moments in the studio, they say that for Korean Kitchen, our chef is gonna make some great recipes with abalone, so look forward to that. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
And those abalones will be the key ingredient for today's Korean kitchen.
That's
I'm
right.
really excited about this.
Yep, our Idami has quite an arm because she just threw it right here to the studio. And Chef Krampo has it over there in the kitchen, and he's going to be showing us some great abalone dishes. Good morning.
Good morning, welcome back.
Good morning, welcome to Korean Kitchen. Glad to be back again, and having a subject at abalone this morning is really, really great to have. So today I'm cooking two of the most popular dishes. It's the abalone porridge and the steamed abalone. So there are various ways to do it, but I show you the most basic one, easy to follow at home, and easy and tasteful recipe. So what you need first is actually a really fresh abalone. As Edami had on the market as well, they're mostly offered live, so they stick to the window of the aquarium. As you can see, that one is still moving. So I picked them up this morning from the market, and they normally stay alive for about 2 days if you treat them well in cold water in the fridge.
Treat them well.
Is there a way to pick the fresh ones? How do you know which one's more fresh?
Well, normally I look at the indication of a good quality is the size. So we normally pick them after size. Then you got to have a good fish supplier who you trust, and he will recommend you the best one. But I normally look at them. It should be nice and shiny. They should have a little bit of resilience when you push them down. They should not be too hard. So that's pretty much the
So nice and firm too.
Nice and firm, yeah,
okay.
And not too hard. So I just want to show you quickly how to clean one out. Basically, just take a spoon, move it a little bit away from the intestines, and then you separate it from the shell. It's a very easy process, actually, and it comes right out. So that's the basic movement you do. Then you have this green-looking intestines in there. This one we're going to use later for our porridge, so very important.
Well,
has a lot of flavor,
right.
gives a lot of color.
Some people use it and some people don't, right?
Yes, correct. When I talk to my Korean chefs, they mention, oh, you must use it. It's a must to have in the porridge. The Westerners maybe look at it a little bit different. That's something what we may consider not to be too nice, but after tasting it, in my opinion, it should be in there.
Okay.
So, great. So we'll do the steamed one first. Pretty much I use a steam basket. I clean out the shell, what I've done earlier. So you can keep the intestine, the green part of it, scoop it out, and then give it a bit of a wash and clean the shell, what I've done already earlier. So then you can slice the abalone whole, put it in there, or slice it and place it into the shell. So that's what I'm going to do now. So take the abalone, give it a few slices. That makes it easier for the marinade to penetrate, and also for the cooking process is much faster than if you steam it whole. And the beauty of abalone, I think, is you can use the shell again and put the abalone in, and it looks just beautiful and delicious once you've cooked.
We can't wait for this to be over. I mean, I really want to dig in, so is there a way you can facilitate the process? Hurry up.
Let's get to it.
Let's get going.
I'll have enough for later for tasting. So what I've done, a very simple dressing. Pretty much I use some soya sauce, a little bit of rice vinegar, some sesame, some shallots in there, and a little bit of chili, of course. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a spoon and nap it over the prepared abalone slices. About 2 spoons each abalone. And then, depends on the size, you steam it for about 4 to 7 minutes. So these ones are quite large, they're about 100 grams each, so 6 minutes I think will do for them.
So we're going to leave that on there, but you're also going to be working on the porridge. We'll explain a little bit in detail about the porridge later on, but due to time constraints, we're going to have to let you go ahead and let that cook there for now.
So for the porridge, what I've done, I've taken some rice, I soaked it for about 2 hours, I washed it, soaked it for 2 hours. There are 2 ways of having it at a whole or grinding it a bit down. I normally leave it whole, because it breaks down during the cooking process. Then I have, of course, my abalone meat, and I cleared out the intestines before. A little bit of sesame and a little bit of carrot.
Okay.
All right, don't want to be rude, but hurry up so we can dig in later, okay?
All
Great,
right.
thank you. We'll be back. And SJ, we'll go to SJ for now.
All right, so we'll go to SJ with our sports, and we'll be back with the finished product on the porridge and the steamed abalone.
And a good Wednesday morning to you all as we kick things off with the South Korean national football team. Now, of course, with Korea taking on Peru on the 14th at the Suwon World Cup Stadium, manager Hong Myung-bo announced his roster for the warm-up match. Now, despite speculations that Hong Myung-bo might be bringing in Park Ju-young, he was left off the roster once again. But that's not all. The Lion King Lee Dong-guk was left off the roster once again as well. But at the same time, it might be Lee Gun-ho's last chance at proving that he's a national team material, as manager Hong decided to choose him over the big man Kim Shin-wook. And just like the East Asian Cup, the team will be without any European players as he chooses 20 men instead of the usual 23. And from the South Korean national football team, we go over to the South Korean national basketball team, who actually went up against Kazakhstan in the round of 12 Asian Basketball Championships. Now, after thrashing Bahrain the night before, the offense lights it up once again, beating Kazakhstan 71-47. But it wasn't just the offense that worked on the night, as the defense kicks it up a notch as well, with Cho Sung-min and Yang Dong-gun helping the Korean team stop Kazakhstan's offense. Now, with the blowout win, Korea has earned a ticket to the quarterfinals of the 2013 Asian Basketball Championships. And now moving on to some Tuesday night KBO action as we take a look at the red-hot LG Twins take on the scrappy NC Dinos. Now, with the game taking place in Masan Stadium, it's the LG Twins who draw first blood with Kim Yong-hee's RBI ground out, which scores Son Jung-in for the first run of the game. Now, next batter here, we have Lee Jin-young of the LG Twins. RBI double makes it 2-0 LG Twins. Now, fourth inning of the game, we go over to super rookie Na Sung-bum. RBI single to right cuts the deficit to 2-1 LG Twins. But now here comes the LG Twins once again. Sixth inning, Chung Sung-hoon deep to straightaway center field. This one a 2-run shot as LG takes a 4-1 lead. Shifting to the 8th, LG seals the game here thanks to Lee Byung-gyu's RBI single as the LG Twins take this game 5-1, your final score. And next up, the red-hot Tucson Bears taking on the Nexon Heroes in Jamshid's second inning. Bases loaded, Min Byung-hun's sac fly scores the first run of the game, 1-0 Tucson Bears. But next batter, the Tucson Bears hot hitter here, Kim Hyun-soo pokes one to left, 2-0 Tucson. Not done yet, big man of the Tucson Bears, Choi Jun-suk. This one deep to center field, clears the bases with a 2-run double as Tucson takes the early 4-0 lead. Fifth inning of the game, bases loaded for Kang Jong-ho. He's going to ground out to second. This scores a run, and what do you know? That's it for the Nexon Heroes in the fifth. Shifting to the seventh, Lee Jong-ho deep to right field. This one, his fifth home run of the season. 5-1 Tucson. Now we're going to shift over to the ninth inning of the game. Bases loaded. Park Byung-ho walks here. 5-2 Tucson. Next one, Kang Jong-ho of the Nexon Heroes. This one is going to dump into the left field here. This scores 2 runs. 5-4 next Tucson. Next batter, Kim Min-sung. He's got to send this one to deep to right field, but here comes Min Byung-hun with the catch. Game over. Tucson takes this game 5-4, your final score. Now, one game was canceled yesterday, but the Lotte Giants actually beat the Kia Tigers 5-3. Now, with that, so we're going to finish things off. Of course, with talent comes success, and with success, of course, comes money, right? Well, it's no wonder that Kim Yeon-ah was recently ranked 6th in the list of highest-paid female sports stars in the world. Now, Forbes magazine recently compiled a list of some of the highest-paid female sports stars, and Kim Yeon-ah raked in a total of $14 million in 2013. While she didn't make much money with her prize money, most of the money did come from the number of commercials and sponsors. While the top 4 highest-paid players were all tennis stars, with Maria Sharapova topping the list at $29 million. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. See you guys again for your sports needs.
All right, looks like abalone porridge is ready for us.
All right. Should we go over there?
Let's. Can we? Is it ready?
Yes.
All
so
right.
Back again into the kitchen. So which one you want to start first?
Me?
Both of them are ready, actually. So what I've done there.
Oh, wow.
Let's get a close-up on this. This is just beautiful.
The steamed lamb is so simple to do. You know, you take it home, you slice it, you steam it for about 6 minutes, you put it on the table, and off you go. What I'm going to do to finish it off, just a few,
ginger?
A little bit ginger gets rid of the taste, not rid of the taste, gets rid of the fishy smell, if there's any. And I like the bite of a nice piece of ginger on top. A bit of green spring onion.
All right.
And then a drop of sesame oil just to make it nice and shiny. And I love the flavor of sesame along with abalone. So
I do too.
this is it, really.
Wow.
All right. Well, it looks great. You don't have to season it any. Why don't you try some? Go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, ladies first.
We have utensils.
There you go.
All right. Great.
Okay. I want our viewers to get a look at this.
You make it seem so easy. So you just cut it up and
it is
put it in.
easy. And if you want to leave it whole, you can do that too.
And what about the porridge here over
The
here?
porridge, yeah, it takes about 40 minutes to cook, a bit longer maybe. I normally use 1 part rice, 4 parts water or so to make that occasion properly.
This is good. You should try it. You should try it.
So
you
I'm just
grind
gonna.
up the rice?
Pardon me?
You grind up the rice before you make
I normally
the porridge?
don't. I cook it a bit longer and the rice will fall apart by itself, pretty much. Most important, really, to make it look pretty, I keep a few slices of abalone and I put them on top. So you want to showcase the best part of the porridge on top of it.
I like how this abalone, it's not too chewy, it's not too tender, it's just the right texture.
Because if you cook it too long, it will be tough. If you cook it too short, also could be a bit tough.
It's just perfect. I love it.
I'm waiting for you to finish the
So I
porridge.
put a bit of nori on top. I love the crunch and the look of it. So
Oh,
a
the
few julienne of nori. There you go. Sprinkle of sesame, and there you go.
Wow.
There is the abalone porridge. Now this one is eaten breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Korea, but also when you feel a little bit sick, a porridge is always something soothing for you. Also in Germany, we don't do it this way, but it's a similar method we do at home. When you're sick, you have something like that.
And
so
I'm ready to eat.
Please stick in, please stick in.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
This is
I'm just gonna
So while
fry
I'm
some.
eating, why don't you guys close the show, please?
All right.
I'll let the ladies eat.
All right.
Thank you, Andreas, for joining us today. Thanks for the wonderful food. And we'd like to thank our viewers for joining us as well. We saw the recipe. It's easy, it's simple. Anyone can do it, but only Andreas could do it this
way.
good.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 a.m.